don't need. You're good.
Yeah.
All right. Dang. All right.
The
Oh,
camera's
man.
on,
The
man.
camera's
It's time
on.
to get to talking. It's time to get to chatting.
Oh man, how do I start this off?
All right, man. What's up, bro? What's good?
Oh, what's good? What's good, everybody tuning in? It's your boy D for 3, and I'm here with Jalil Evans. Now, if you don't know who Jalil Evans is, been one of my best friends since, how long has it been? Sixth grade,
bro.
So was he like 11?
Yeah.
Jeez Louise, I'm 23 now, bro.
That's crazy, man.
That's crazy.
I'm about to be 23 in like, what, 11 days?
Yeah,
11
that's
days.
crazy. So, just joined the Meta and the Metaverse with Mark Zuckerberg. How you feeling about that?
Man, it feels crazy. I would have never expected, like 4 years ago to be going into product design.
Right.
I was originally pre-med.
Yeah.
Yeah. Going to the hospital, like Holy Cross Hospital in the mornings, bro.
Yeah, I remember that.
Bro, it had me washing old people, bro. Like, that jump was so terrible because I didn't think I was signing up for that. I thought I was just, learning how to take vital signs and things like that. But then eventually the class started turning to like, oh, make this bed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why are we learning this? We go to the hospital, get my first assignments. It's like old, just stubborn, like man with attitude, bro.
Yo, it's always the one with the attitude.
I know,
bro.
and then I just gotta wash him. Like he got a catheter in and everything. I gotta like look at that joint like.
Oh, that's crazy. So
Bro.
that's when you knew it wasn't for you.
That's when I knew. Monday through Thursday, like every morning, no matter how good my morning was going, that joint was ruined. The day was ruined after that. I was like,
So you ended up committing to. Oh, you want to make sure your mic is straight. Is that joint straight?
Oh snap! Oh yeah, it might be.
All right, cool.
I think it should be good though.
Yeah, it should be straight. But yes, committing to Cornell 4 years.
Yeah, we got the Cornell.
I got the Cornell shirt on, man.
Yeah.
So how was that experience?
Yeah. So I knew like from the jump that I wasn't gonna be doing pre-med because of what I'm saying, that crazy experience. So I'm just kind of just like looking around trying to see what other things are going to be interesting to me. So I look at like communications, business, and then I kind of just realized that I never considered tech. So I just decided to give it a try. Originally I was going to do computer science. Talked to my advisor. He's like, I see you did social psychology, you might like information science better. I'm like, what's that? And he was like, it's basically the study of the intersection between humans and technology. And I'm like, oh, like that's perfect. Like I love people interacting with people, understanding human nature and stuff like that, and then being able to transition that into tech as well, while learning some technical skills and things like that would be super useful for me. Right. Yeah, it was super dope. In that sense.
So like, what would you say? Like, would you say you had a pretty good like experience as far as like with Cornell being there for 4 years and like? We're gonna get all into all the extra stuff, but I just wanted to get your first full take. Everything.
Overall, like Cornell was a good time for me to just like explore. I was able to start taking on dance and stuff, and that's like something I never really considered. We had like this Men of Substance showcase. That joint was the most nerve-wracking thing I've ever taken part of. You're just there with 6 other guys. Most of them are like seniors. They're all upperclassmen. I was the only freshman.
Oh, really? I didn't even know that.
Yeah, and we all competed essentially just to win over the crowd. And it was 200 people that I didn't know, just like, bruh, I was watching them walk into the stadium, and I was like, we were backstage, and my heart was pumping, bruh. I'm like, yo, I gotta go upstage, and we had a couple sections. We had a rap battle, which like we were able to prepare for beforehand. Like we had our lines memorized, but I'm still nervous as hell because I'm like, what if I forget? What I'm saying? I did end up forgetting, but I ended up saving it somehow. That was fine. And then after that, we did this like talent show, which was I ended up getting like people from my dance team to just come up and we started dancing and stuff. And then the other one was a questionnaire. They just talked to us and asked us questions about ourselves, like who's your favorite artist, what do you want to be, and things like that. I won 3rd place, which was dope. Out of
Ron?
Like the only freshman to like place in the upper round. I'm like, okay, that's what's up. So it was a cool time. It was a good time to just get out my comfort zone.
I mean, I guess for me, like I was kind of the same way as far as like getting into the tech field. Like I always wanted to be like an engineer. So I used to want to be like an aerospace engineer because I love space. And so like I was just like, okay, like just mixing the best of both worlds. But where I went to, Washington College, it didn't have like engineering, but it had like it had a 3-2 program. So it was like 3 years of physics at like Washington College, and then you transferred to Columbia University for another 2 years to get your computer science degree, which in the long run would have been like probably like a great decision. But it was like I was also playing sports at that time, and I didn't want to like transfer like going into my senior year. Like that joint would have been just crazy. So I was like, all right. So I went to, like I said, I went to the Career Development Center and everything like that. And they were like, okay, well, you should try, this whole like computer science thing out. And I was like, man, I mean, okay, that's cool with me. So I ended up like basically taking a couple classes, and I like instantly knew I was pretty good at it. But I also knew that I was like the only black person in that job. Well, I had one other black person in there too. Her name is Lucy. Shout out to Lucy, man. And but it was like it was quite the experience, just like learning a whole different space and like basically a whole new language. Like, it's basically just like French or Spanish, you know what I'm saying? Like you just kind of like with the coding aspect and things like that. Right. And so, I mean, after that, basically I was like, everybody I talked to was like, oh yeah, you need to, like, you're in computer science, bro. Like, you gonna make money, bro. Make this and that. And I was like, okay, you ain't gotta tell me twice, you know? I was like, you ain't gotta tell me twice, man. So I was like, all right. So that's something I knew I was good at, and I was like, I know I can use the money towards like, hobbies that I'm actually interested in, like the podcast, you know what I'm saying, like the YouTube channel and stuff like that. So so I mean, now working into the field and stuff like that, before we get into all that, but you had a startup and you want to go into a little bit of depth about that?
Yeah, I can go into that real quick, but before I do that, I just got to ask you a question. So like, yeah, I can speak about my experience about this a little bit too, but for you, what was that like being one of the few black people in tech at your school?
It was weird. I mean, I did go to like a predominantly white like school, so it was like, it wasn't new to me, but it was just like, and I was also small. So I mean, I feel like with going to high school with like in a very diverse area, it was like, okay, this is not something I'm really foreign to, but it was just like I kind of felt like the outcast sometimes, and even like from my professors, like I felt like a lot of times they would be like, oh, not like. It was kind of a race thing, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was just like, and I had a lot of cool professors that just didn't care about that and stuff like that. But like, I had a couple that were just like, all right, you're gonna have to prove to me that you want to do this type of stuff and things like that, and you're not like BSing it, you know what I'm saying? So like, it was a long like 4 years, but like, and I would see the same people. It was kind of hard to kind of like build like meaningful bonds in a sense. Just because like I feel like everybody was just so much different than I am. But like, I mean, even like I had like it was my freshman year. I had a philosophy class, and like I remember this was like my first year, going there, whatever. And it was just like a culture shock to me. I like walk in, sit down and everything, and then next thing you know, like I'm just sitting down. He started like doing the syllabus stuff. Then I'm just chilling or whatever. And then next thing I know, I just like it's just something told me just like to look around, right? So I was just looking around. I was just like. There ain't no black people in this joint. God, bro. 0 out of like 25, 30 kids, bro. And so I was just like, they literally like only like person of color in that joint. Like really, it was kind of crazy. So I was like, okay, I know what I'm getting myself into. So it's just like I just gotta buckle down and get ready for the ride,
Did y'all have any organizations that were for like black?
Yeah, so we had like a black student union. I tried to be in it sometimes, what I'm saying, here and there, but like that was mainly going on when like basketball was going on. Right. And like for my basketball team, it was pretty diverse. Like we had probably the most diverse like team on the campus. And so like I mean I kind of got like a lot of my culture and stuff like that from there. And like it's not like the like white people were treating me like crazy, you know what I'm saying? But like it was just like it was just
have a feeling.
Yeah, you just have a feeling, you know what I'm saying, where it's just like you kind of feel outcast a little bit. So it's like, dang, I gotta prove that, you know what I'm saying, in the sense that it's like, okay, especially in the tech field, like it's usually just like old like white men, you know what I'm saying? So it's like I feel like now it's kind of transitioning. Like you see a lot of like even like on TikTok, you see all those like women like that are in working for like Facebook, Meta, and Microsoft and all these things, and they're like doing like the day in the life of a software engineer, things like that. And so I feel like it's definitely shifting now because I feel like a lot of people see a lot of opportunity in it. So
that's what's up. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because I feel like my experience going into tech as a black person, race didn't really act as a sort of hindrance to me in any way, and like it's actually mainly because we had this group on campus called URMC.
Right. Okay.
It stands for Underrepresented Minorities in Computing.
Okay.
And when I was first transitioning into tech, I went to some meetings with that group, and it's just an entire collective of black engineers and also people in information science, but it's mainly engineers.
Right.
And it's just like they have all things like office hours for each class. It's like sort of difficult.
Yeah.
And some of a decent amount of them even go on to become TAs of those classes and stuff like that too. So I was going to these classes seeing other people who were black. Like, sure, it wasn't a whole bunch. Maybe it was like 2 or 3.
Right.
But still, like, just seeing that other people were on this mission too. And knowing in the back of my mind, I'm like, you can make a lot of money from this. Like, I'm not gonna let just not seeing representation of me like deter me from not pursuing that. You know what I'm saying? Like, when I first joined my product design class and started getting into the actual design of products and things like that, it was straight white people and Asian people.
Right.
I was the only black guy in that class.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, but I mean, I was just like, I'm excited to learn and get to like start to master this craft so that I can use it in the future. I wasn't even really looking at it from that perspective. So I don't know if anyone else can relate to that, but it's actually interesting. Like, I guess I can give the flip side of the story, which is I didn't feel that my race played that much of a role.
Right.
In it. Yeah. And even when, later on I started working on the startup and things like that, it was also another person of color was the CEO of it, and he brought me on the team, and it was already good. Like, the entire team was black. You know what I mean? So I never felt that like, oh, like kind of like outcast, like, oh, like I'm the only black guy. Like, I noticed it,
right? Yeah,
but it didn't deter me.
Yeah, exactly. Same. I was the same way. Yeah. It just was more so as a motivation. Like, I could be like the forefront to kind of like push this for like people of color and black people especially. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So I mean, I know a lot of people are like, want to start their own business and especially like now with the tech field and things like that with this whole metaverse stuff that we're gonna get into. But I just want to hear from you of how hard it is to basically creating your own startup, creating your own business. Like, how I know I remember those long nights of you just like just talking about it and stuff like that. But I wanted you to kind of just give a little bit more insight to like how it really is.
I think that's the most difficult thing that you could take on, to be a co-founder of a tech startup, especially be a black co-founder. Like, that's actually a place where I saw my race play a little bit more of a role, it seemed like. But it's the type of thing where there's no security at all in it, right? And when you're starting off, and I'll just tell you the story from the jump of how it kind of happened. I was doing my design thing. I was posting my work on this website called Medium. It's a blog site, but a lot of designers use it to publicize their work. And my good friend Rami, he saw the work that I was publicizing on Medium through a mutual connection that we had, who was also in the Underrepresented Minorities of Computing organization. So just to say, like, networking is definitely really important in these scenarios, just to get you the opportunity in the first place.
Right.
But he was like, yo, bro, like, I see the work you're doing. It's super dope. I'm working on this project that's essentially, the whole goal is to unite the Black and Latino students on campus, and centralize the clubs and organizations and events that are happening. Because originally, before that, all we had was GroupMe. Like, that's how we communicated.
Same with us. Straight GroupMe.
So it's like, if they want to send an event to the chat, they want to publicize an event, it's there for a little bit, but if people are talking, it gets lost in limbo. And if it's a week before or so, you're gonna have to keep publishing it so that people can see it. But it's just too chaotic to be an effective way to actually get people to pull up to things and get people to learn about clubs. So he was like, we're gonna make this platform that's gonna centralize all of that. We're gonna have clubs on the platform. We're gonna have events. And you'll be able to just go on there and interact with it, so that new freshman students don't feel lost and feel like they don't know where they fit in on campus.
Right.
Because that was a big thing for me my freshman year. I was like, where's my home? It felt, you're away from home, so you're trying to find that home away from home.
Right. Yeah.
So our goal is essentially to help people find that. And I originally just saw it as a side project. I was like, oh, like, this is a place I can go to just start working on designing platforms that people can go on to engineer, but it'll be something cool that I can put on my resume. Very shortly after, I realized that it wasn't just a side project anymore. I started, we started working on it a little bit more, and we applied for the Startup Accelerator program called eLab. And in there, essentially, it's just you get class credits for working on your business, essentially. And when we applied to that, he was like, listen, like, we're applying with dang near a new idea at this point, because the whole clubs, organizations, events, and things like that, it was based on just a few of our experiences. But if you want something that's really going to sell to people and really going to scale, you have to talk to more people than just like thinking about it yourself.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Just because it solves your problem doesn't mean other people have that problem too.
Exactly.
So we had to talk to a whole bunch of people, and we actually ended up, between me and our 3 other co-founders, we talked to 100 plus students at about like 30 different college campuses. I think we interviewed you.
Yeah.
I interviewed you. We talked to people, Washington College, Michigan State, all these places. So just to get a sense of what people's experiences were coming onto campus. And when we realized that there was like a new problem that we really needed to solve, this was when it started to turn to like, dang, like this isn't really just a side project anymore. Like now I'm kind of like creating a business idea from the ground up and helping to build that. Like, yes, the design comes into play later on, but right now we need to get people backing this idea, pitch this idea to people. And, you know, later on that year, the following semester, I had to pitch our business at the World Trade Center.
Oh, wow. I didn't know
New
that.
York.
Oh, wait, I do remember that, actually.
World Trade Center in New York.
You spoke
Man,
that
joke was crazy. And the audience was strictly just like old white men. And our whole pitch was essentially about like diversity and inclusion.
Exactly.
And
now here comes this.
Man, what? I'm like, yo, like, I'm over here about to pitch diversity and inclusion to a whole bunch of old white lawyers. I have no idea how this is gonna go.
Yeah, and you this is when you still have the dreads, right?
Yeah, still have the dreads and everything. Yo, like no tie, no nothing, just a little, suspenders and the pink button up.
Yeah.
And then I went up there, and I was practicing this over and over. We were just going through it over and over on the bus to New York. I would just think about it in my head. I was like, come on, I'm gonna get this.
Right.
I get on stage, and I just kill it. Like, it was a great presentation, and that was probably like the most accomplished I felt. Just because it's like I put so much work into it, and this was something that I really helped build from the ground up, kind of thing. Got good feedback and everything, but yeah, honestly, it's just such a difficult thing because you don't always know what the actual business itself is. Like, yeah, you kind of understand what you're trying to do. Yeah. But explaining in a way to people as your idea is constantly changing and changing, that's the most difficult part.
Yeah, that is true.
Because it's like, okay, I work at Meta. I can say, okay, yeah, we're building social media platforms so that we can bring the world closer together. That's easy to say. But when I'm working on my startup, the idea keeps changing. So I'm like, we're even trying to figure out what our slogan is. Like, what are we? What is it? I'm like, oh, well, now it's a different idea. Like, does this even encompass everything? And we're trying to figure that out. And then it's like, is this even a good problem to solve? Let's go talk to more people. And then, yeah, you can find yourself up for nights and things like that, just like trying to figure out what exactly it is that
having some type of identity to it.
Exactly. And some sort of consistency. But that's the thing. Like, when you're working on a startup, there is no consistency. Yeah. No consistency. It's all change. Like, quick. It's always like adapting to change and finding out something new, finding some sort of competitor who seems to be doing the exact same thing you're doing, getting like discouraged because you're like, fuck, we were trying to build this and y'all just already built it. You know what I'm saying? So now it's like, okay, how are we going to do this better than y'all? Or do we need to pivot now into another space? So you definitely learn a lot. Like, I went in it for the expectation to just get better at design, but I ended up getting better just all around as just a businessman, understanding sales, understanding talking to customers, understanding pitching, and understanding running a team and just adapting to change in general. Right. And I think that those lessons were invaluable for just my future careers in tech, because now that I'm at Meta, it's like nothing really phases me anymore. Most people who, you know, first start working there, if they have to pitch at a leadership meeting, they're super nervous.
Yeah.
But I already had to pitch my startup to a venture capitalist that I don't even know to ask for $100,000 by myself. So if I could do that, it's like if I'm pitching in a leadership meeting, like that's nothing to me. I'm getting paid regardless. You know what I mean? So that I feel like those are like the main lessons I ended up taking away, and there was a lot of things just when it comes to teamwork and things like that. But just overall, just confidence, having confidence in yourself and your idea, you realize like that's going to get you far. Because when I think about it, our CEO, the person who had the vision originally, the reason he was able to sell me on it and get me working on it too is because how confident he was in what the end goal was.
Right.
And even though it wasn't super clear, it was just the confidence. I was like, no, we're going somewhere for sure. And like that's honestly super important, because if he would have said the exact same thing to me but just with no confidence, I would have been like, I'm not sure, bro.
Yeah.
But you know, I definitely learned a lot from him. He was, you know, super energetic dude and just confident, like charismatic and carry himself well and things like that. So picked up a lot of people skills along that way too. Yeah.
So now we're like it's kind of a weird space we're in right now, because we're kind of like transitioning into kind of adulthood, you know, as far as like, you know, now we have our own jobs, you know, me working at Lockheed Martin, you working at Meta, and you relocating. That's one of the main reasons why I wanted to get you in here as quick as possible, because I didn't know I'm gonna be on the move, you know, like with the end of this, you know, the end of this month and stuff like that. I wanted to make sure that, you know, we had a chance to talk, because we always had these type of conversations and stuff like that off the script, and I was just like, man, we
just chop it up.
we just need to chop it up.
We haven't even got to the good shit yet. That's the crazy thing.
I know. We just kind of, you know, just talking about tech and stuff, but I want to just kind of flow into, you know, what life is like after, you know, college and stuff like that. I know it was kind of difficult for me because, you know, with me playing, you know, being a collegiate athlete and stuff like that, and dedicating a lot of my time to sports, and now it's just like a quick flip of like, dang, now I'm sitting 10 hours a day like just working on code, you know what I'm saying? And it's just like such a crazy change of lifestyle, you know, and it's like, man, I don't really have time for a whole lot of other stuff, and it's like, you know, I love my job and I love what I do and I love the people that I'm with, but it's like, I definitely miss the feeling of like, you know, being very competitive in the sense of like a sport, you know, and just the art and just the craft of just like, you know, continually just striving to be better and this like that. So I'm trying to take that mentality and shift that to my work. And so it's like, okay, how can I get better in this? Because if I want to move up the ranks, if I want to move up in the rank, like, you know, get more playing time in a sense, you know, paying time, you know what I'm saying? then I'm gonna want to, you know, I gotta, you know, definitely hone down on my skills and stuff like that. And that just is just me just being always like very dedicated to like everything that I'm doing. And you know, even now, like, you know, just sitting in front of like a computer for 10 hours, like, yeah, you're gonna work probably like a good amount of it, but you're not going to be working the whole time. Sometimes you just need to get up and stretch. Sometimes you need to, you know, just take a little break. Sometimes you might just catch yourself watching some YouTube videos, you know what I'm saying? So like, I've kind of like also used that time to learn about just like life skills. So I watch like a lot of podcasts. I watch like a lot of like life videos, and I also just watch like, you know, a lot of like stuff about investing and stuff, which we've talked about, you know, with just investing into stocks and stuff, and now like crypto and everything. And it's just kind of crazy. It's like, this is not something I was thinking about in college. Like in college I had like no money to me, and then even in high school, like I was just too young to even like open a Robinhood account, you know what I'm saying? I feel that, so it's just kind of weird.
And it's like, what money do we have to invest in the first place? Exactly. To invest in chump change, like, oh, let me put $20 in Bitcoin. Like, what's that gonna do, bro? Like,
right, exactly. So it's just like kind of like seeing life in a new perspective. It's like, it's a transition to be like, okay, like, where's the next party, or like, when's the next game, or like, when's the assignment is due at 12 at midnight, to like, all right, let me start thinking about my future, you know what I'm saying? Like, let me start thinking about like, how am I going to invest in these certain things so I can, you know, have enough money for like when my kids, you know, when I have kids, when I have a wife and stuff like that. And just wanting to be like, you know, financially, I don't really like saying financially stable, because I feel like that's putting a cap on my limit. Like, I feel like I want to be more than financially stable, you know what I'm saying? Like, I want to be able to live the life that I feel like I deserve. Right. And so I know that comes with a lot of hard work, but I feel like, you know, I feel like that's something that I can definitely attain. So I never really want to be like, oh, just live a comfortable life, like able to just, if I can pay for it twice, then like no, like you should always be dreaming higher. That way, like if you fall, you'll land on a cloud. You know what I'm saying? So, so yeah, I know we talked a lot about investing. I don't want to really go too much into it. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, you can just watch Earn Your Leisure. You know? Watch Earn Your Leisure, man. Watch Earn Your Leisure, man. But yeah, like how do you kind of feel about like how life has kind of shifted for you?
The times blurred together a lot.
Yes.
A lot. Like,
yes,
it was just summer and now it's winter. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
I know.
Normally you have that transition around September where you start going back to school and everything, but there just wasn't that. Like, we were just still home. You were still at work at this point.
Yeah.
I was still waiting for my job to start. I've been at it now for a month and a half. And you know, it's been cool. I mean, honestly, it doesn't feel too much different from working on my startup because I was working on my startup from home, and right now I'm working on Meta from home,
right,
and everything like that. It'll probably change a little bit, and I'll be able to offer you a better perspective on it once I move out to Cali, and start working in the office and everything. But for now, it's really just like, it's nice doing work and getting paid nice for it too. Yeah.
It's like it's like the satisfaction of it. It's just like, okay, I was doing the same thing in college, but it's like I wasn't getting paid. It's just like for a good grade. It's like now it's like I know money's coming in on Friday. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
yeah, the transition's been pretty interesting for me because I went from, you know, just thinking about like the future, like what job I'm gonna get, to now like how am I planning financially for the future for like the things I want to do. Now I'm saving for like a car. I'm saving for my apartment. I'm putting together a travel budget. I got an emergency fund, and there's all these different things, and I'm just like, dang, like it makes me think a lot more tangibly about my future in that sense. I'm like, what do I actually want to do with my life? Because if I don't save the money for it, then I'll probably not end up actually doing it. You know what I'm saying? If I never set aside a travel budget, I'd keep just like pushing it off, be like, oh, I can travel later, I can travel later, or wait for one of y'all to bring it up in a group chat or something. I'll be like, okay, I'll travel now. But I think the act of mindfully putting away money to certain goals that you want in your life, or like just certain things in your bucket list to do, I think that helps make your goals a lot more tangible. And maybe that's just me as like an over planner. I like to plan everything, you know. So that's definitely helped me kind of just like start to manifest my goals a little bit more, just putting the money in those locations for the future. Besides that, I just been feeling lazy too. Like,
I know once that 5 o'clock hit, you just like, man.
Yeah, like you were working all day and now you're supposed to go do something.
I know, and that's why I really had so much respect for like my parents and stuff like that, because it's just like, dang, like we're so new into everything, so we're not, like, our body isn't used to it yet, you know what I'm saying? But just imagine you like having to work a 9 to 5 and then you got to come home to like a baby. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo,
man?
Like it's kind of crazy, and then it's like you can't really take a nap. Like, you know, you gotta kind of invest in your child. You know what I'm saying, and build them up and stuff like that, and things like that. So it's kind of crazy. It's like, man, when I think of it like that, I'm like, I'm good.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like,
good right now.
People really like don't give enough credit to parents for like how much work they gotta put in to raise us. You know, like, because we just be doing the wildest shit too.
Yeah.
Be like pouring baby powder all over the place, like
something that I know there's probably been some times where they just wanted to just
man, there was one time I sprayed Lysol in my dad's face, bro. I couldn't tell you to this day why I did it. I think I was like, I saw something on TV with like guns or something, and I was like, oh, like I got this Lysol gun.
Yo,
bro, I dead woke him up because he was asleep. He wasn't awake yet. I woke him up. As soon as he opened his eyes, I was standing right there. I said,
hey, yo.
He should have whipped my ass. He didn't even whip my ass that day. He should have.
Yeah. That's funny. But yeah, you definitely got, even though, we kind of talked about this, like, and I've kind of thought about this too. It's just like, parenting is just kind of, it seems like a very, very hard thing to do. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, dang, this decade is probably a good chance I'll be a parent. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's kind of crazy to kind of think of it in that sense. But I think like the main thing for parenting is just to not let your job overtake the relationships that you have with your kids and like just people around you and stuff like that. I feel like for me, if it was ever a point between like money and like maintaining a job in my family, like I would choose my family over everything. Just because like, I mean, they ain't asked to be here, first of all, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, I feel like it's a responsibility as a parent to like really, you know, invest in your kid and like show them the ways of life and stuff like that. Because especially the way the world is coming now, I feel like we need good parents, great parents more than ever. You know what I'm saying? With just everything, with just like the social media aspect and just so many mindsets and the way how somebody can be so influenced so quickly just by reading a tweet or watching an Instagram post or having access to celebrities, you know, lives and stuff like that. So many, you can be swayed and really sucked into that. And I think like now is the time for like, you know, if you think about being a parent, if you're a parent now, to really hone in and kind of, you know, develop your kid and show them how to properly live life.
Right. And study just how to like raise a kid too.
Yeah.
I feel like people have kids too early when they're not ready financially, but also just mentally and just like as a parent to, you know, bring a life into the world and show them the ropes.
Right.
You can't just be out here like clueless and then like what's gonna happen? Your kid gonna be just as clueless as you are.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So, you know, invest in your knowledge, invest in just learning how to raise a kid before you go ahead and make that decision. 'Cause that's a big thing. And I mean, we could get into this, just how many younger pregnancies there are, how many deadbeat dads we got.
Yeah.
Because just like how easily people can just go out to a club, meet a girl, and then have sex, make a dumb decision, and then you got a baby 9 months later.
Yeah, it's crazy.
That you're not even invested in. Anyway.
And you're not even invested into the girl either. It's
not
just
invested into the girl, and damn sure, like, the baby is like the only thing that's keeping you there, and it's like at that point you're like, nah, like I'll just pay child support.
Exactly.
But
yeah, it's kind of a crazy world we live in, and like as far as like how that can kind of take place, and just kind of how like promiscuous like the world is nowadays. It's just like
it's so hypersexual.
It's so hypersexualized.
So hypersexual.
I mean, it's just like it's just crazy, bro. It's like you can't go nowhere without it just being like cheeks everywhere.
Man, what? You like, open TikTok?
Bro, let's talk about it, bro. Scrolling on like TikTok 10 o'clock in the morning, bro. You know, just, you know, taking my break at like, and it's just like I'm swiping. And like I'm new to TikTok, you know what I'm saying? So it's not like I got like a For You page, you know what I'm saying? It's just like they just throwing whatever on there. It's like, bro, like, dang, Slim.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
It's like, bro, it's like there's no talent behind what they're doing at all. It's just like, bow. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's crazy.
They got the dance trends, and you know, most of the guys will go around do the dance trends, and we got girls going around doing the dance trends. And then you got your few girls that just like pull up onto that joint, don't even do the dance trend, just show ass.
Yeah.
And then they get 1.3
it's like they
likes.
get millions. It's like
they got more likes than the original creators of the
I know, and I hate that like
sex
sells nowadays, man. It's just like it's so like it's just so out there. It's like, bro, I have to mute like words on Twitter, like I have to unfollow people, and like just so I just don't see all the type of stuff, because it's like I really believe in like, you know, keeping like guarding your eye gates and your ear gates and things like that. And it's just like, bro, like
you get desensitized.
You get so desensitized, and it's kind of crazy now, because it's just like, bro, like I don't understand it as like, I understand it as a woman, you know, you want to, you know, be attractive, you know, be attracted and stuff like that, and feel like being seen in a sense and stuff like that. But it's just like creating this culture of like, like you're just an object, you know what I'm saying? You're something that I can use, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, that's not how it should be. And I feel like that's why a lot of like relationships are failing, and you have such a higher rate of divorce, because it's like a lot of people just get into this, get with a girl because it's like, oh, she look good, you know what I'm saying? And then they don't really have a whole lot of communication. There's no really vulnerable talks. There's nothing really there. It's just like the sex is kind of keeping them all together. You know what I'm saying?
That's what I'm saying. It's like the values are so skewed nowadays. You see the looks on the girl, and now like the goal is just to get the best looking girl you can get. Right. Because that's what it's like. It looks like it's being marketed to you. You know, that's all you're seeing on your page. You're like, damn, like I want a girl to look like that. Like, oh, no, I want a girl to look like that. And it's just like crazy how social media's kind of conditioned that. Like, of course, there's always been
video vixens,
video vixen, things like that, like porn stars back in the day, magazine models and things like that. But it's been so enhanced these days now with social media, because now it's like, what is it that I can do that's going to generate the most amount of likes for me?
It's a validation thing.
It's a validation thing. So like, guys will go on there, maybe they'll be funny or something. But like girls figured out very quickly that they could just show their body, and that's going to blow up. That's going to get hella likes and things like that. And it's created just this cycle. Like, dang, like I like the validation. I like seeing these likes pop up.
Right. And I can make money off of it.
Exactly. Now I can start making money off of it. And that's another thing I want to talk about, because I don't know if you've seen this, but like if you go on any girls like TikTok or any girls, mainly girls TikToks is mainly where I've seen this. But if they look good any sorts of way and they're showing any sort of skin, you got hundreds of niggas asking what's the link, like where's the link to the only. I'm like, yo, like now it's getting to the point where it's an expectation. If you look good and your body looks good, like you got an OnlyFans, like you got that jank. Let's talk about that. You got the OnlyFans.
I mean, it's
crazy.
I mean, it's just a culture. I don't think it can be stopped, because I think at the end of the day, a lot of people are attention seekers, and I think that stems from not getting attention at home. That could be stemming from a lot of it, or things at home and stuff like that could hone into it. Or it's kind of like you said, it's just a cycle, and it's like men are just as much as to blame as women is, because we're the ones that
we're liking it, we're encouraging it,
we're liking and encouraging it, and it's like it's just a crazy dynamic to where it's like you said, like you can just post something and it's just like, oh, you know what I'm saying? It's like 1.2K or 1.2 mil. And
the thing is, like, I see it, like, what am I gonna do? Not like it? You know what I'm saying? Like, of course I gotta like it. You know what I'm saying? Or at the very least, send it to my man. It's like, I'm gonna send it to you at least if I see it. But it's like it's gonna do numbers and things like that.
I'm trying to figure out, like, I mean, I've never been somebody that really seeks validation and stuff like that. I've always kind of been somebody that's like, just kind of to myself a little bit. Like, I kind of got a lot of my validation through my work. You know what I'm saying? Through something that I've like worked hard for, such as like basketball, studies, and just like hobbies and stuff like that, and just like regular intelligence and stuff like that. And I've never really at least I feel like I've never really used my looks or the way that I've looked in order to promote more like attention to me. You know what I'm saying? So it's kind of a hard idea to grasp. But I mean, it's very weird, and I feel like a lot of it is just like breaking like just relationships in general. You know what I'm saying? You got like this culture of men who just like are just fiending for just as many women as possible, and then you have these women that are just like giving out as like putting a price on their body. You know what I'm saying? And I know like a lot of people might not, they like the body positivity and the things like, but I mean, we just kind of got to come to a realization that it's like, I don't know. Do you feel like it's a moral issue? What do you feel like it's like?
I'm gonna say, like, however you want to get your money, like, you go ahead, get your money. But I don't know, like, when it comes to the OnlyFans thing, I just don't see a reason why like girls who look good wouldn't do it. Like, because the money's right there, like you can make it, like,
right. You don't need to really do much.
Yeah, like you got to understand though, to a extent, like the risk that you're taking there, because once you start putting your body out there, and you're going in with the mindset of like, oh, I'm just gonna show some cleavage, I'm gonna show some ass or whatever, and then that'll be that. But people are gonna start paying you to do other things. Like, nah, like
it can become addictive.
Exactly. It's like, nah, like do something like with a dildo this time. Like, okay, now do something with like someone that, and like they'll keep paying you more. Eventually, like you're just gonna like kind of fold in a sense. You'll be like, you know what, I'm just gonna do it for the money, and then before you know it, you're basically on the hub. But you get it how you get it these days. It's just as long as there's a market for it, and
it's gonna be more and more people, and it's like
gonna be people.
That's the thing that I don't like, and I feel like men have to kind of take that responsibility that we gotta get to a point where it's like, okay, yes, you're attractive, but it's like we got to get to the nitty gritty. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like a lot of people don't want that because people want instant gratification, just instant release, I guess you could call it. And so you kind of get to this point where it's like you have all these men just thirsting for women and really seeing them as objects rather than, you know, somebody I can, you know, spend the rest of my life with, or actually as a human that has ideas and things like that. And so it's weird. It's a very slippery slope when it comes to that, because of course I do want people to get it how they live it. You know what I'm saying? I don't have like it don't really matter to me. You know what I'm saying? As long as it's not affecting me or anything like that. But it's just like at the same time, like you wanna lead your life in a positive manner, and I don't feel like that's leading your life in a positive manner. And I feel like also with that, you're only gonna get so much validation, and like there's not enough. I feel like there's only so much validation that you're gonna get from that. You know what I'm saying? I feel like a lot of that stuff is also internal. That's something that you gotta work out yourself.
Exactly.
And so, I mean, like as far as just like that, I mean, that's just like a lot of like inner things that you kind of have to, you know, go to therapy for, whatever it is, to kind of like realize, okay, what's the real reason behind this? Is it just like, you know, maybe I'm struggling with money, or is it something else? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, but
you definitely like touched on something I want to dig into a little bit more. The idea that like you're always gonna want more, in a sense, or like you're looking for this instant gratification, right? And I saw this quote that people fail because they sacrifice what they want in the future for what they want now, right? So like that can be applied to so many different things, right? You're out here chasing pussy because you want the feel good feeling of like having sex, when you could be investing in yourself, growing a business,
right?
Acquiring a marketable skill, some sort of trade that's going to set you up for success in the long run. You know, and you know, later on you could start to indulge in more of those instant gratification things. I'm not saying like don't ever gratify yourself immediately, like you can do whatever you want, but you want a balance, in a sense. And like people have these conflicting ideals of how we want to spend our 20s. I want to talk about that a little bit, because there's the group of people that are like the hustle culture. Right. It's like spend your 20s heads down, like the people kind of like take after Gary Vaynerchuk, if you know who he is, Gary V. And you're like always working, heads down, invest, build a skill, get your 9 to 5, get a side hustle, and work your ass off until you know you're 30 or 35 or whatever, and then you can reap the benefits of that. Right. But then there's also the people who are like, no, like I'm in my 20s, I'm gonna enjoy myself, I'm gonna go get as much pussy as possible, or I'm gonna go have as much sex as possible, and just do a whole bunch of things in that sense, right? In my mind, I feel like there should be a balance between it. I don't think you should do only one or the other, but of course it depends on the person. Like if you just really like the idea of like grinding and things like that, just don't be turn like 30 and be like, dang, like I wish I would have had a little bit more fun in my 20s.
Because you don't want to be 30 and just have zero relationships with anybody. You want to push everybody away just for the benefit of, because it's like, who are you going to spend the rest of your time with? You know what I'm saying? Then, like, not everybody's well established, everybody has families, and you just sitting there like with a boatload of money and nobody around you. You know?
That's what I'm saying. It's like, we could get it. We could get into the topic of the red pill community too. That's actually probably like the majority of people I see having that very, you know, head forward, like head in the ground, hustle and just grind mindset. And like I'm not like there's nothing wrong with bettering yourself. You should always aspire to better yourself, and that's what I'm doing. That's what you're doing.
Right. Exactly.
You know. But I feel like there's also a balance, and like, you know, people who tend to be in that red pill community, and you know, I was in it for a little bit too before I started to just see it for what it was.
Exactly.
But these are people who kind of just like got their heart broken. You know what I mean? And like had their feelings hurt by a girl, and now they're in this men's support group basically of like, fuck women, like this is true female nature.
Right.
Women are hypergamous. They just want a man who has money, who goes to the gym, and is like on his purpose or something like that.
Right.
Yes, be on your purpose. You should have been on your purpose. You know what I'm saying? It's like, yes, you should have been on your purpose, but at the same time, it's like you're over here listening to all these red pill teachers who are preaching from such a bitter place.
Right.
The place of like, oh, like I got my heart broken by a girl, so like you got to adopt the mindset like every girl is a hoe. It's like, what are you talking about,
right?
Bro?
Yeah.
What are you talking about? You know what I'm saying?
You
it's
just
like,
ain't been outside.
You're crazy generalizing right now. You got people from Miami that are used to like, this city culture,
right?
And then, but like from my experience, like I haven't peeped very many girls that are just like gold diggers or. You know what I'm saying? Like the types of girls that they talk about in these red pill dating channels, I have yet to really experience talking to one of them.
And like, that I've talked to like a fair share of women, and it's like literally none of them have ever like asked me to pay for this or pay for nails or like even simple stuff like just like paying for the meal. Like I've done it because I feel like that's the right thing to do. You know what I'm saying? And so like it's never like I've never like even like just small interactions I've never had, but I think that's also something that I attract. And I feel like if you're putting yourself out there, putting yourself with a whole bunch of money, and you on yachts, you know what I'm saying, you posing with these muscles and everything and stuff like that, you got Lamborghinis in the background, then you're gonna attract a certain type of people. You know what I'm saying? And it's like you really got to see people for like who they are. And it's like you also got to understand that it's like, okay, you are portraying this image, so it's gonna get to people that want the same lifestyle as you,
right?
But like for me, like I was a college athlete, like I didn't have no money, you know what I'm saying, like I'm in college, you know what I'm saying, I get out of college, I got a job, but it's like at the same time it's not like I'm like flexing and stuff like that. And I feel like, I mean, definitely show off what you have if you want to do that, but that's just never been my style. And I feel like that's a direct correlation to like the people who I, have dealt with, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, I've never like, I don't know if that's just a Miami thing or like, cause I feel like a lot of that has stemmed from like the big cities like Miami or Los Angeles and stuff like that. But it's like, you go there, you know what you're signing yourself up for, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. People just like think that there's like these, there's a couple things that I don't like, but overall I'm not gonna say the red pill community is like all bad. Like things they say, like they tend to be accurate, like on a decent level, but you got these bitter men calling like married men simps for being married to a girl. It's like, you're married to her? You're a simp, bro. Right, you blue pill beta bitch. You know what I'm saying? It's like yo, like what's good with you, bro? Like you know what I'm saying? They can't be married nowadays, like because they just assume that all women are just ready to like cheat on you and leave you for like the other guy, and it's like that's just, first of all, that's not the case. If girls just didn't like you like that, just say that. You know what I'm saying? Like if you just didn't get girls like that, just say that. Then that's fine. Like, but no amount of like tricks or manipulation or like leave this girl on red for 3 days and then reply or just like say this to her to get her to do this. It's like, why are you trying to play mind games?
Why are you
being
strategic with it, bro? Like it blows my mind how much depth is really into it. Because at the end of the day, if she ends up liking you, you're gonna have to be yourself at one point. You know what I'm saying? And she's gonna see who the real person is. And so like I've always took an approach to be like, I'm just gonna show you who I am. You know what I'm saying? Like if I'm a certain way, then I'm a certain way. You know what I'm saying? And it's just like, I don't understand the need to sabotage or like manipulate women in order to get what you want, because it's like, what do you really want? Is it the sex that you want? Or do you just, because you can find women out here that just want the sex of themselves, you know what I'm saying? Or do you want to build like these meaningful relationships that are actually going to mean something and actually develop you and grow you into the person that you are, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like that's the best route to go. I've always been kind of a relational person. Like I've never been, like gone into like a situation like, man, I'm just trying, you know what I'm saying? Like it's always been like maybe I'm capping, I don't know, but I'm just saying like for the most part it's been that way, you know what I'm saying? And it's like I've always had like meaningful conversations with the people that I've really tried to get to know and that I felt were attractive. And it's just like I don't understand where all this notion is coming from as far as like, all women are this, all women are that, and it's like you need to do this, and it's like, oh, what's it called? Like you need to have sex with 50 women before you settle down. I'm like, Slim, why would you even want all of that energy inside of you?
What
you know
Fresh say? He got like 1,000+ bodies.
Come on, bro. He's first of all, he's cap, bro.
You gotta be capping.
He's
like,
capping.
Even if you are, if you're serious,
even if you're okay, like that's
I hope you're okay.
That's what I'm saying, bro. I don't understand it. It's just like I hope, like, I don't want to get to that. Like, you know, I don't want to have to get to that. Like, I want to be able to find, you know, somebody, which I feel like I do, like, you know, find somebody that I feel like I can, like, you know, communicate and build something, you know what I'm saying? And I feel like a lot of men have lost touch in the legacy and the building and the love in a sense, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like work hard and get money, and then like you can get any girl that you want. But it's like, I don't want any girl that I don't want just any girl. Like, I want somebody that's gonna pour into me, that's gonna, you know, make me a better person. Because at the end of the day, like, it's all just, you know, creating you know, spiritual growth. And I feel like the person that's gonna know you the most, or know you, or like help you reach a certain level, is gonna be, you know, your girlfriend or your wife, because they see the good and the bad of you. You know what I'm saying? Right. Every time, you know what I'm saying? You dealing with somebody, one night stand, blah, 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 you know, you hooking up or whatever, you know, you're just going to see them for a good time. You know what I'm saying? But you see, you know, your woman with somebody that, like, you seeing them on good terms, on bad terms, on times you just, like, you're down, you're up, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, I feel like that just helps you, you know, find your purpose and find your and just having well-being within that. You know what I'm saying? I was watching this one thing. It was just like, sometimes we need to take a break from finding our purpose, and just live life. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like there just needs to be a good balance with that, you know, as far as like, you know, you want to, you know, it's always going to be in the back of your mind to find your purpose and, you know, reach goals that you want to attain to, but you also want to reap what you sow. You know what I'm saying? You want to be able to enjoy the things that you have planted, you know? And so I feel like we've gotten to a culture that's just like work. I'm not investing in relationships. I'm not investing in this. Like, I mean, you even get it with, you know, with women too, where it's just like, I don't need no man, this and that. It's like, bro, like, I mean, I feel like every kid needs a healthy relationship between their mom and their father, because their mom and their dad, because I mean, at the end of the day, that's like their first sightseeing of what love is. You know what I'm saying? I mean, the bond that a man and a woman has, you know, and things like that. And, you know, kids pick up quickly. You know what I'm saying? They know something is wrong. Right. They know something is going right. They're going to feel it. And kids are like sponges. They're going to be absorbing absorbing everything. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if you have an unhealthy relationship, or even the whole, I feel like the co-parenting thing is starting to become very like trendy, and it's just like, I understand that things happen. I understand
co-parenting. What is that? What is co-parenting?
Like, co-parenting is just like, okay, you just like, we're both taking care of the kids together, but it's like we're not like together at all. Like, we're not really doing much. Like we may still have like Christmas together or something like that, but it's like we're not showing any affection to each other. It's not really like that type of speed. But I just feel like a lot of that, like, we have to get back to healthy relationships. And like you were saying, you were telling me like how like cheating feels so prominent nowadays, just because it's just like, I feel like negativity is always going to sell on social media. And so we have to get to a point where it's just like, we have to kind of guard our eye gates and guard our ear gates. Because it's like, it's just going to be so much more propaganda that's put towards us to divide us as a community and divide us, you know, between men and women, that it's just going to be like, it's going to be the point where it's like, dang, like, why do I even need relationships? Or why do I even need a man? Or why do I need a woman? Like, when I can just procreate and handle this on my own, you know? So
yeah, Dan, you touched on a lot.
I did.
I want to get to. So you mentioned like the the part where like people are like constantly like chasing that validation or chasing that new girl, chasing things like that. All of that, like, you're not really pursuing meaningful relationships. You just want sex and things like that.
Exactly.
At the end of the day, like, if you just look at things very basically, it's like you're chasing something. Mm-hmm. What do you hope to achieve by chasing that? When you get that, are you going to be satisfied?
Right.
Or do you need to chase something else now?
Exactly.
When is the chasing going to stop?
Mm-hmm.
Are you going to keep chasing? Like, are you ever going to fill that, you know, void inside of you, whatever it is that you're looking to fill with all of that meaningless sex? One girl broke your heart, bro. Like, having sex with hundreds of girls after that's not gonna
never the answer.
Fill that. I don't know if y'all seen Californication, but that man is fucking miserable. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? He has sex like every day. It's not a lifestyle that's just like conducive to happiness or fulfillment in any way.
No fulfillment, right?
And you know, men have kind of started to like, and women too, have started to take this idea that like, once they've had like a bad relationship, or like that one dude cheated on them or that one girl cheated on them, that must default to mean that the whole gender just like isn't shit. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Or like,
it's like, now I'm bitter. Now I'm just gonna lash out on everybody.
Yeah, so it's like no one else. That's what I'm saying. I'm like, listen, like, there's always gonna be bad people in this world, on both sides.
Exactly.
But it's never like it's not a war between men and women. Like, it never was a war between men and women. Like, it was just bad people that just do fucked up.
And that's what
shit.
I try to tell people all the time, bro. Is that like, it's not like one-sided in either way.
Yeah.
It's just people are just broken.
Yeah.
And it's just like, no, and on both sides. Like, it's just, that's the way it is. You're gonna get very good people and you're gonna get very bad people. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, people are people. Like, it's not like one type of gender is only doing this, or one type of, or the other gender is doing that. Like, and so that's just kind of like, it's just kind of crazy that, like, you know, like, it's just kind of crazy that it seems like the media has divided us so much to the point where it's just like we've come to this this type of society.
And I don't even want to say the media, because it's us. We're the media. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're on these apps like venting, and we know that, you know, the negativity sells and it's promoted.
You know,
so,
bro,
like,
you know what I hate, bro?
What?
Bro, I hate the fake cheating pranks, whatever you want to call it, the stuff on TikTok. Like, bro, it's clearly staged, but they know that it's gonna get views, and then you see in the comments and they believe it. They're like, "Oh, she's trash. Why would she do this?" Blah 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 blah. Or like it's just this culture of even couples that have just that have made this culture to, it's like, okay, being in a relationship is bad because you're only gonna get yourself hurt. And I don't understand why that's become a thing with couples on social media, but I see that often, to where it's like, oh, like, it's so staged, bro. It's so, and not even couples. It's like people that are faking to be like in a relationship. Like, I see it all the time, bro. Like, somebody will go and be like, hey, you know, like, they'll try to like, can you rate me, blah 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 blah, like, you know what I'm saying? Then they start like spitting their game. They're like, oh, I got a boyfriend, blah blah blah. Then they go in there like Hellcat or whatever, or like Ash McLaren, you know what I'm saying? And then it's like, oh, what is that, blah blah. I'm like, bro, stop the cap, right? Bro, we've been watching YouTube for way too long to like fall into that.
Like, come on, man.
Like, and it's like, but it's like little kids see this stuff, and it's like, it's just gonna be like this sense of like, either couples like, oh, all couples do is prank, so we're gonna prank each other, and then so that automatically loses trust out of the relationship, and then you just see like, oh, like, I'll never get in a relationship because, you know, like, you see all this stuff going on that's not even real. It's not social media. Like, I want some, like, bro, I want y'all to go on TikTok and just see, like, just swipe. Maybe it's just my TikTok, I don't know, but I see it all the time, bro. It's like some fake stuff, bro. It's just like, it's all fake to just kind of divide us as men and women. You know what I'm saying? So, but
it's pretty crazy, like, how. And don't get me wrong, like, some people get paid, you know, off the social media. Like, it's actually pretty profitable if you know what you're doing.
Exactly.
You can grow a following. But besides that, if you're just on there and you ever just find yourself posting a picture and then just feeling like anxious, like a little like anxious, you're like,
I used to feel that all the time.
And you just like, I just gotta close the app. I can't come back for like a little while, like, just so that like I hope that when I come back I get like this many likes or so and like this many comments. But it's so funny how like these are just small, like these are, just think about this. This is just like somebody's idea that they came up with in their college dorm room. Right. And they're like, you know what? I'm going to introduce this button called the like button. Mm-hmm. And people are going to be able to post and people can hit the like. Someone just came up with that idea like in their dorm room. And now people's entire like livelihood and happiness and satisfaction is dependent on how many people just hit the like button, which can be dependent on so many factors. First of all, one, if they're even just on Instagram that day, like maybe they're just, well, they probably are on Instagram, but they didn't even saw it because we know the algorithm.
I was about to say the algorithm.
The algorithm might just mess you up sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's like, it says nothing about your value as a person.
Yeah.
Whether you got 2 likes or 100,000 likes, it doesn't matter, because you have people who are on Instagram who have like all these followers, like 10K followers plus, who have no friends in real life.
No friends.
You know what I'm saying? Like everything's just superficial. They have no like real deep connections because Instagram isn't the place for forming deep connections. Mm-hmm. Tell me a time you've like DM'd someone and it's really like actually turned into something meaningful. Never. It just doesn't happen.
I'm like 0 and 500.
You know what I'm saying? Like it doesn't happen.
Like even
bro.
friends too. Like just friends.
Yeah.
Like nah.
Friends, anything like that, bro. Like I've shot my shot, bro. Like it doesn't, like, bro. Like
it doesn't translate. And that's what I wanted to get to is like how meaningful it is. Well, let me take this approach. How like the reality has shifted to the internet so much so that it's become more validating to get it online than to actually get it in person. You know what I'm saying?
You think so?
I think so. Well, I'm saying for some people, I'm saying there's a culture for that. Me personally, I feel like if you're in high school, college, and you got clout or whatever, I feel like that's a lot more meaningful than 100,000 people who don't really care about you or don't really know you. You know what I'm saying? And so like, but you have these people, like there's even people that we know that was like, that will just not go out or not have a good time because, or like just find all their men or all their women on Instagram or whatever it is, because it's like, I don't need to go out and go to the club or go somewhere to where I can, you know, meet people and stuff like that. I can just post a pic and I know somebody gonna swipe up. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it's created this culture to where it's like, but I just feel like it's kind of funny because it's like we kind of like, you know, with COVID that happened like last year and stuff like that, like we were able to finally start like going out. I know that you know, you were, you know, in New York a lot of the times, but this was like the first year where we were kind of like able to
really just experience the bar scene, just like the nightlife and like city life. We went out to DC and I was like, growing up in the suburbs, you didn't really go out and meet strangers like that.
Nah, not at all.
So me and him, like, we would both nick like
always
talk to new girl at any like random stranger.
And I had that too with like, dang, like I wasn't going out and stuff like that. I wasn't going out because I mean, like I was just like, man, let me just see if I can DM somebody and get some conversation with them. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, but now it's like, that's so useless. It's so pointless because people aren't even the same.
Exactly, it's not the same energy at all.
It's not the same. It's not this. They're not the same people that they are on real, like in real life. You know what I'm saying? And I started realizing that, and it was like a lot of people that I met that were like, you know, at the club or like just out. You know what I'm saying? I had a good conversation with. They didn't have tens of thousands of followers and stuff like that. Like it's like regular stuff. They're regular people. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
And it's just like, dang, like you cool. You know what I'm saying? Like. It's just crazy, like how we like.
You would have no idea until like you add them on Instagram.
Yeah, like that.
You'll be talking to a calm little girl at the club, and it's like, oh yeah, like you're cool, and then you follow her, she got like 10K or something. It's like, dang. It's like, okay, like I didn't even know that, but like you're doing that online, you're doing that through Instagram. You're trying to shoot your shot. That seems like such a barrier. Yeah, it seems like 10K, like dang, like there's no way I'm bagging that. It's just a number, bruh. You see her in person, that number is gone. You're looking at her.
It's the blue check syndrome.
Exactly, blue check syndrome. Blue check syndrome is crazy.
But I mean, so like, kind of, I guess you can kind of go into this, bruh. Like as far as I guess like something a little, like what do you like? What's kind of your favorite moment or funniest moment? Like kind of like going out and like just like out in the club or whatever? It could be about me or it could be about you, whatever.
Nah, I got a few. I feel like every time we go out to the club, it's some funny shit.
It's always something funny, bro.
It's always something. So let's see. Main thing, before we get into this, like I just want to say, like, it's actually crazy, like, how easy it is to actually go up to a girl and just like start talking to her.
Yeah.
Like once you get over like those like initial nerves,
right.
from just like not having like approached people like that before. Once you get over that, you realize like they're just people like everybody else.
Just
like,
people. Like they could be in your like school class, whatever it could be. You know, they're just regular people.
Yeah, that's why I'm so like, I don't know. I don't like the idea of like guys saying like they got game or not. Because like I guess like I would say I have game, but I'm not calling it game. I just know how to have a conversation.
Right, exactly.
I just know how to walk up and say I have a conversation, bro. Like that's all you need. It's like you can have a conversation and you have the energy, bro. It takes one look and you're having a conversation. Like you know what time it is.
Yeah.
So all of this extra, like, oh yeah, you got to say this line or you got to do this, blah blah.
Right. It's so much like technicalities in it that it makes you anxious.
Yeah, it makes you. It's like, dang, am I doing this right? Like, stop worrying and stop tripping, bro. Stop tripping about that. Just have the conversation, talk to her, see if she like you or not. If she like you or if she don't like you, nothing that you come up with or say is gonna automatically trick her into liking you.
Yeah.
Humans can detect bullshit very easily.
Exactly.
You know
Yeah.
if you're faking something.
I know. Yeah.
So
very easily.
That's what. So I'm like, she's gonna like you. She gotta like the person. You know what I'm saying? Like, if just work on yourself as a person. That was a little side rant. But anyway, funny story. So we went out to DC and we've been going to this club called 1942, and we're always at 1942. At this
shout out
point,
1942.
Shout out 1942. Shout out the bouncer at 1942.
Yes,
that's
sir.
Our good man.
Yeah, I don't know his name. I gotta get it next time we go out, bro.
That's our good man, Joe. But yeah, we'll pull up to 1942 and we go with our good mans, and I'm glad we started going out with him because he's bold. You know what I'm saying? Like he gonna get us to talk to girls, like if not. And we had this whole, situation where it's like, if you don't go talk to that girl, we're not talking to you. Right? So you're just gonna be a lonely motherfucker in this club. Yeah. And you gotta try to talk to that girl. You tell me you try to talk to her, and you don't talk to her, we're not talking to her.
We not talking for the rest of the night,
That's
bro.
what I'm saying. So you better go talk to her, and you just might as well go ahead. Anyway.
But you need those type of people in your corner, bro, to kind of get you over that hump, bro.
Exactly.
Because it's just like, Slim, like, it's really not that hard, bro.
Because let me tell you, in high school, bro, if we would have tried to go smack with, like, our group of friends, and we would have tried to go smack at a girl, and we got curved, bro, we'd be the bitch. Like, they gonna laugh at us.
They gonna laugh at us crazy.
They gonna laugh at us. But it's good to have a group of people who are, like, not gonna laugh at you if you get curved. Because that's, like, another just pressure. That's just almost like, oh, like, now I can't because I'm gonna look bad in front of
right, exactly.
We know it is what it is. Some girls don't like you, some girls not gonna
right,
like
exactly.
You.
And you're not gonna go 100% from the field.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? You're
like,
never gonna go 100% from the field, bro.
No one does that. So, but anyway, yeah. So we're out there in 1942. It's one of those nights, and Daniel goes downstairs to you go downstairs to do something. I don't know, but you just go downstairs real quick, and it's just me and Dave. We're just chilling, dancing and everything. I think I'm a little bit lit already.
Yeah.
And as we're dancing, like this group of these two Habesha girls walk by us, and like they're looking right, like they're looking good. Yeah, like OC dressed, like they're done up, everything, white toes, everything. So I'm like, oh, like she look all right. And then she look at me, she locked eyes with me, and like I'm dancing, and she started dancing a little bit too. I was like, hey, fuck it up, blah blah. And I'm like dancing. I look at Dave. Dave just looking at me. He's like, go talk to her. Like, go talk to her.
Yo.
And I'm like, chill. I'm like, chill, bro. I was like, all right, I'm gonna talk to her like when she come back over here, because she had walked past me a little bit, and we're on the wall, right? So we're kind of like, wallflowers, but honestly, like, there's nowhere else to stand.
Yeah. Especially like then, it was like packed.
Yeah. So we're on the wall, we're chilling. She walked past me. And I'm like, yeah, like I'll talk to her when she come back this way. And Dave was just still looking at me. He was like, talk to her. I was like, all right, bro, I'm just talk to her. So I go over to her. I'm like, hey, how you doing? What's your name? She was like, oh, I don't remember her name. We'll call her like Lily or something.
Yeah.
I was like, say, oh, hi, I'm Lily. I was like, oh, nice to meet you. I'm Jalil. And then we just started talking to her. Her friend comes by, sees me talking to her, looks at me, looks back at her, and then gives her like a thumbs up. And I'm like, okay, cool. And she was like, yeah, my friend approves of you. I was like, okay, yeah, cool, that's whatever. That's what's up. So we're just like talking back and forth, and then she's like, oh, I'm thirsty, and I was like, that must mean she wants me to get her a drink. So
Right,
I was like, so you want a drink? She was like, yeah. I was like, all right. I was like, all right, good. Yeah. So we went to we go to the bar. I get a drink for her, but also I get a drink for her friend too, because she's with us. Bro, first of all, the drinks are mad expensive. Like, you go out in DC or anywhere for that matter, in any city, the bill's gonna be pretty crazy for the drinks. So we get the tab. I only buy 3 tequila shots, and it comes out to like $50-something.
It's just around there.
I was like, 50 for 3 shots.
You know how it is, man.
I could have gotten a whole bottle
2 bottles.
a whole bottle of Casamigos, and I would have been good. But anyway, yeah, got the 3 shots. We downed them. We're just like talking, and she's feeling me crazy. And she's like, how old are you? And I was like, oh, like, how old are you? I just like ask it back, because depending on what she answers
right.
is what I'm gonna answer. Like some around there, something believable though.
Yeah, bro.
So she was
don't
like
young dudes.
That's
bro.
what
I don't
I'm
know why
saying.
it is. They just think you're not like, you don't got nothing going for you.
Yeah, I'm like, first of all, stop using the age as a cutoff, all right? Because obviously that's not working. You dating these old niggas who are still mentally immature, so just get that out your mind. Just because he's older doesn't mean you're gonna be a better dude. Anyway, so she's like, oh, I'm 28. In my head, I'm like, yeah, 28. These in 1942, like there's it's just an older crowd overall. There's no girls really under the age of 25 there. Maybe 24 is like the youngest we'll see. So I'm like, oh, okay, that's what's up. She was like, how old are you? I was like, oh, I'm 25. I'm like 22, but I like 25. I like that. That's understandable. Everything like that's cool. She's like, okay, cool. Like, you know, like you're kind of young. I was like, nah, like that's whatever. Like, you're a baby to me. Yeah. I'm capping my ass. I'm like, this is the oldest girl I've talked to. I've never talked no older like 28. 28 is crazy. But she was looking right though. So we were talking, vibing, everything. And like she starts dancing with me and stuff. Daniel comes back up. You come back up around this time, and you notice I'm like talking to this girl. You're like, dang, like what happened?
Yeah, bro? I was only down there for like 10 minutes.
Yeah,
like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Anyway, so we're like up there and everything. We're vibing and stuff, and it gets to a point like she starts getting real like freaky with me. She was like, oh, I'll be right back. I was like, all right, cool. She starts walking away, and then she just grabs my dick real quick, like she just give it a squeeze. I was like, yo, squeeze? No. At no point in my life has a drink ever done that to me.
Nah, that's the old drink.
Like, yo, what? That's gotta be the old head sauce or something. Trick in the book. Yeah, that's gotta be one of the old cards that y'all pull out. Cause nah, that was crazy. That drink had me a little whipped through. Yeah, I was a little stunned. I was like, what the? I was like, nah, I need that. need her when she comes back. So waiting for her, she came back. We was cool and we was talking, whatever. We're vibing and I get her number and everything, and I'm like, okay, cool. So like, I'm not sure what was going through my head at this point in terms of like what would happen after. I was kind of just hoping she had her own place or something, or like an Airbnb she was staying at, because she's originally from Cali. So I was like, oh, you're staying at Airbnb, like I'll just like come to your Airbnb or something, like we get something popping there. Then she asked me, she's like, so mind you, I told her I'm 25. She's like, so do you have your own place? And she's dancing with me, and I'm like, you got me, because I can't say yeah. Because then she's gonna be like, let's go. Like, let's go, exactly. So I'm just like,
nah, I got roommates. Nah. I got roommates.
Bruh, it was even worse, bro. I was like, nah, I'm living with my parents to save some money until I move out. And I mean, I guess that was true, but bro, like, you're 20, like, I'm done, bro.
She not trying to hear that.
Bro, that conversation got so dry after that. So dry. She was not trying to do nothing. And then she was like, we were downstairs at the time. She was like, I think I'm ready to go back upstairs now. I was like, okay. We go back up. I don't see her for the rest of the night, bro.
Yo, that's crazy.
She leave the club with some other dude. I guess they go into his place or something.
That's funny, bro. Oh my
man.
God. But yeah, bro, Joyce, it's funny. Old women, bro, you gotta have something like something to offer. You know what I'm saying? That's just funny. That's funny how like, because we do find ourselves at 5242 a lot. You know what I'm saying? Just because I feel like they got the best music. Like I feel like everybody. Like, not everybody in there knows us, but, like, I feel like, you know, the bartenders know us a little bit. The security knows us real well, stuff like that. The music is always pretty solid, so it's like, yeah, why not, you know?
And we got good energy. Like, we just be dancing and everything.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
And people see that. They're like, oh, yeah, I like that.
Yeah. But that's kind of, that's funny, bro. I mean, it's kind of funny that, like, you're talking about that now, bro, because it's, like, honestly, like, every time I've been to the club or whatever, like, if I've ever got, like, a number or whatever, like, I've never texted them after.
Never texted them, bro.
Never.
It's almost like we just went there for sport. And just, like, you know, just to see, like, you know, can we just, like, bag a drink if we wanted to? Yeah. As long as you have your own place, though. You have your own place.
Right, yeah.
It's been so many times. Like, every time we go out, I think we, like, bag someone. You know, at least like one or so. Like, there's a couple stories I'm a little more embarrassed to tell, so I'm not gonna tell those ones. But nah, it was some funny nights. There was one night I was just like dancing with a big joint all night. You remember? Like, I was dancing with the friends. I was like, I'm not dancing with. I might as well just dance with a friend, yo. And she was feeling me too much, though. She actually texted me after. She sent me a voice message.
Oh, I do remember that.
I remember her?
Yeah.
She was like, the voice message was like, you're like, you know, cute or whatever. I think we should, you know, go out on a date or something. You know, if you want to take me out. Like, she was like trying to just like, I don't know, she was just talking to me like mad, just
sweet.
Mad sweet and shit. I was like, damn.
I remember this one time. I remember this one time early in the year. We were just chilling or whatever. I think we had a few people there. I think it was like Angel, Cora, and all of them were there. Like, that's when we had like the big group going out, like 5-6 people. And I remember like just going out chilling. I wasn't really on no type of time for real. I was just kind of chilling. I was kind of tired, to be honest. And I remember this one chick comes through. You know what I'm saying? Slim.
Bad.
I remember this one chick came up, bruh. She's like, and then I guess she had like family there or whatever, and she knew like the club owner and stuff like that. So I was like, dang, okay, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I wasn't really on that type of time, bro, and I wasn't really trying to do much, you know what I'm saying? But then it's just like the competitive juices, bro, just started flowing. I mean, this is probably like one of the baddest joints I've seen ever that step in that joint, bro. Like, I don't know if you remember.
Nah, she was tough.
You remember her?
Yeah, I remember her.
Yeah, bro, and I remember I was like, I was just like, I was competitive, but I was just like, I'm not gonna do anything.
Yeah, you were just playing it cool, bro.
I was not doing anything.
Nah,
literally,
bro, I was looking at you. I was like, bro, go talk to her, bro. And
I was just like, chill. I was like, wait, chill. And so like I caught her like eyeing me a couple times, and I was just like, all right, bro, I got her, bro, like easy. So then I was just like chilling. You know, night goes on, cooling. She's still like in the vicinity and stuff, but she's starting to look a little bit more nervous. So I'm like, okay, I don't know what's going on. Like, she better come. If she come up to me, she mad. If she come up to me, she mad bold.
The time's ticking, man.
So I remember her cousin was there sitting down. She was like an older woman, like she was probably like in her 30s. Because I had talked to her because like she had like dropped her phone or something like that, and I was just like picking it up. Like, I'm pretty nice in those type of areas, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not like a mean person, or I'm not even mean spirited. So like, pick up and she was like, "Oh, thank you, you're so cute," blah blah blah. Like belittling me a little bit. I was just like, "Thanks," you know what I'm saying? It is.
Nah, they be trying to baby out there, yo.
They do, like, but I was just like, I'm not even in the mood. So I was like, I'm cool. I was like, "Oh, thank you, appreciate it." And then like I see them like conversating, you know, right at the bartender table. So I'm just cool with her, and she goes like this, like the girl was like, no. And then she was like, yeah, this is my cousin, blah, blah, blah. Like, she thinks you're, like, really cute, blah, blah, blah. You should just, you know. I was just like, if I, like, in front of her, and I was like, oh, okay, appreciate it. So, we was talking or whatever. It was a cool time or whatever. And then I remember Dave was like, bro, how'd you do that? I was like, literally, I didn't do anything. Like, I didn't do anything.
Nah, bro, just got it like
and
that.
And then I was just like, and then after, like, you know, I was just having a conversation. I wasn't doing nothing like crazy flirty or anything. Like, you know, I throw my little jabs here and there and stuff like that. But like, for the most part, I was just chilling.
Right.
And then she was like, oh, you want to get a drink together? I was like, oh, here it comes, bro. I was like, I'm not trying to spend a little 35, bro.
Damn.
But I was like, you know, it is what it is, because I ain't really get nothing anyway. So I was like, all right, cool. So we got a little something. Well, we actually didn't get anything, because they was like, this is like towards the end like end of everything. Like, it's like 3 o'clock in the morning, you know what I'm saying? Right. Just trying to sweep it up and go. And then like, so I was like, okay, like she was from Toronto.
Right.
So like she was only gonna be here for like another 2 weeks or whatever. And then like, you know, I followed her or whatever. I hit her up one time, nothing happened. And I was like, okay, that's cool. You know what I'm saying? Like it is what it is.
Yeah.
But I never really went to the club in order like seeking.
Right.
I mean, it's not like that can't happen, and and it's not like people are bad people that go to the club. People are people. You know what I'm saying? You might find the love of your life in the club. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people kind of do.
Yeah. You know,
but it's just like I was just never on that type of time. You know, so I was there for a good time with the bros. You know what I'm saying? If a woman walk across and think she's nice, then I'll talk to her. But it's not like off some like real horny like like I need that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just off some real chill stuff. And I think that's what a lot of guys like fail to realize, that you really just have to have a conversation, bro. Like it's not. I mean, people try to get into all this crazy stuff. It's like, well, this is what you have to do, and you have to do this. Like, bro, just have a conversation, get a drink or something like that, and just be nice.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Man, what? Back when I had like no game, I would just look at on YouTube. There was like a whole bunch of like pickup artists and stuff like that, and they were like, oh yeah, you got like opener by just like saying like hi or something, then you gotta compliment her, and then you gotta get her comfortable. I'm like, be yourself. Like, bro, that itself made me so nervous. I'm like, yo, what the, like, why are there so many steps to this process? Why are you breaking it down like this? But when you realize that you just have a conversation with a girl and like, you know, express your interest, don't like be overly horny or anything, but you know, let her know what's up and be cool about it at the same time. Yeah. If she's with it, she's with it. If she's not, she's not. And then leave it be.
Yeah, right, yeah.
You know, don't stress too much about it. But yeah, I think that's the thing. Because, like, I feel like a lot of guys do go to the club with the intent of, like, meeting a girl and, like, getting laid or whatever.
Yeah.
And I feel like when you go out to do that, you just exude just this thirsty energy.
Very,
you know what I'm saying?
Energy,
like girls can just smell it. They're like, yo, like, why are you so thirsty? Like, just like, nah, get
especially
away from
when
me.
they see you go from girl to girl, like people want exclusivity.
They gonna notice that, yo. Like, come on. Like that girl that was noticing you at the club that whole time, and her cousin had you talk to her. Like, she would have been able to if you were just going like talking to girl, and then you finally went up to her. It was like, what's up?
Yeah, she would have been like, I'm not, like, exactly, bro. Like, people fail to realize that, like, exclusivity is, like, one of the major things in a relationship and stuff. Because nobody wants somebody that's been ran through or been, like, you know what I'm saying? Or, like, just, like, you know, people want people that feels like they're exclusive to only them, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's, like, that's even on just a basic level of you just talking to all these girls in the club. Like, nobody, people see you, they'll be like, boy, if you don't get on with yourself.
Like, how you doing all that?
Yeah, so, but, I mean... Now
like, you down bad, ain't you?
Right.
You down bad.
It must be not. I'm trying to get like you.
Yeah. Yo, I'm crying, man.
Yeah, but now it's kind of with you kind of going back to not going back, but relocating to California. I just want you to kind of touch on, like, because you've been doing long distance and stuff like that. I know that now I'm in a long distance relationship. Right. So I just kind of want you to kind of just like well, we both can, but just kind of get a grasp of, like, you know, what needs to happen in a long distance in a healthy long distance relationship, and also just sort of like I guess kind of like the things that she does to like help you improve, or just kind of like that.
How the whole long distance shit and everything.
Cause it's not easy.
Yeah.
At all.
First of all, I'm a preface this with, I have no fucking clue how this is gonna work with the 3-hour time difference, and like this is a very significant moment in our relationship because we've been long distance before. Me and my girl, we've been together for 4 years now, almost. Anniversary is January 6th. We've been together for 4 years, but it's always been throughout the school year. So like she lives in Jersey. Normally she's in Jersey.
You got the tri-state Dominicans in it. Right. You got the tri-state Dominicans in the club, bro.
Yeah, but yeah, she's in Jersey. Like, I'm like basically like 3.5 hours away from me. And you know, during that time, I didn't really have a car or anything like that. I would like drive up to go see her or anything. So we were always on FaceTime a lot. We watched a lot of movies on Netflix. We did a lot of we became a very good FaceTime couple. Like, we're great at just, like, FaceTiming. We FaceTimed every day. Like, there wasn't really a day that we missed. Like, sometimes we would miss some days, but that's if, like, either I was on a trip or she was having some sort of, like, family event or something. Besides that, we FaceTimed every day. I'm not a big texter, and I don't think you need to be a big texter to have a good long-distance relationship. But you do need to keep up communication somehow.
Right.
And I think calls are the most effective way of doing that. Because, like, you know, text, there's so many ways to read in between the lines. You can't really see that. Saying I love you, like, over text versus, you know, over the phone, like, you know, it carries different energy. It makes you feel better if you say that over the phone, like, to the person's face. So we FaceTime a lot, and I think that's going to be key in maintaining our relationship over, you know, the long distance. But it was easier throughout the last 4 years because we always had that consistent schedule where it's like, yeah, we're going to be long distance for these 3 months, but then we're going to go back to school and we're going to see each other every day. You know, now we're both graduated. She's in grad school for public health. She's probably going to be in another country next year. Yeah. And now I'm across the country, 3-hour time difference apart in California. So if I want to see her, it's got to be so much more of like a event. I got to fly her out. She's got to pack her bags. We got to plan, you know, what we're going to do for the weekend and things like that. And I mean, like, yeah, like, I'm making good money, but I don't got money to be flying her out every weekend. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? So with that in mind, we're just got to figure out, you know, timing. I think qualities that might help that is just like patience with each other, and I think it's important that we both have our own things going on too, because I couldn't imagine if, you know, either I was so far away and I had nothing going on, like all I had to really like do is just like talk to her, or if she had nothing going on, she was just always like in her head just like thinking about, you know, me and her.
That's a good point.
I think the more time you like dwell on the possibilities of like negatives in a relationship, the more you start to manifest it for yourself and materialize it. Like, that's why I like how positive our relationship is. Like, there's never really like points where she starts to think like, oh, like maybe this won't work, or like I'm like, oh, maybe this won't work. And I think that's so important, and that's honestly like, we could touch on this in the book that I read, but it's really just about like what you spend most of your time mentally focusing on. What do you visualize for yourself? Because whatever it is you're visualizing, whether it's success or failure, you're setting that as a goal for your subconscious to achieve that. Right. So if you keep imagining, oh, like, what if this goes wrong? What if this goes wrong? You start to set that goal for yourself, and you're going to start to microanalyze things, be like, oh, it's going wrong here, here, here. And all of a sudden, before you know it, you're blinded from what's really happening, and you just think like the relationship's gone bad, and you start some sort of argument over something that has nothing to do with anything that was going on. It can spiral from there just by someone not being in the right headspace. Right. So I think, you know, me and my girl, and I always make it an effort to put my girl on to the new knowledge that I'm acquiring too, when it comes to like mindsets and things like that, that we both understand that dynamic, and we notice like, you know, if you let that doubt come through, that can start to taint the relationship as a whole. Right. Just by that one mindset. It's just two people in the relationship. One mindset goes bad, that's half the mindset. That's half the mindsets. You know, so I think those are like the main things I'm thinking about. But regardless, like I know it's gonna work. It's just figuring out exactly how that's gonna look. Right. You know,
I think for me, I never thought I would be in this type of situation, but it's been a crazy experience. I mean, even like, I'm not gonna get into it now of like how we met and stuff like that. But she lives in New York, and so. You know, once I kind of like was like, yeah, this is the person that I want, you know, this is the person that I really care for. Like, once I make that decision to myself, it's like full throttle. I don't care, like, it's gonna work. You know what I'm saying?
You after it?
Yeah, I'm after it. So it's like we make it work, and like it's like you know, we see each other like every 2 weeks, you know, so but those weeks are long, man. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's hard, but it's like she's been so good with just being vulnerable with me and getting me to be vulnerable, because I'm not that type of person. And then also just like always communicating me, always reassuring me and making sure that, like whatever it needs to be squashed is squashed. And not like there's like a whole bunch of things. We don't really argue that much. We have our disagreements just like every relationship does, but everything is coming from a place of love. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm like, man, if we can get this, you know what I'm saying, then we can handle anything. You know what I'm saying? I mean, obviously there's going to be, other circumstances that go along the way, but it's just like, it's been such a, like, it's been a very special relationship to kind of, maneuver and getting to know her. I mean, that's why I'm going like with the whole like relationship thing, man. Like it's just, it's so rewarding to be able to grow individually and grow with somebody else and have somebody help you grow. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like all of that is happening. And so like, I feel like, that it's a perfect match, as far as like, really investing my time. Cause it's like, dang, like I'm not the type of person that's going to invest my time in anything, because it's just like, I know what I have going for me. Right. And I know what I've been through and that I don't want to go through that again. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's just basically like, I feel like, everything just clicked. And it was just like, man, we can make it work if we want to. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, you just got to want to do it. And so, like, there's a lot of sacrifices being made. And it's going to be even more down the line. But it's just like, it's just going to be so rewarding at the end, so.
That's what's up. Just thinking of, like, how important that loyalty is that you have to making the relationship work. And the patience and, like, the amount of, like, discipline it really takes to make a relationship work. And we touched on it earlier in the podcast, but just like how people are willing to put off what they really want in the future for just what they want now. Like people cheat in relationships because they just want a quick nut and things like that, and not really like thinking about the future.
Right.
And some people kind of just like have the value that you just want to have a whole bunch of meaningless sex, but you kind of start to realize very quickly that that's not the best way to go about life. The most satisfying way. And it's good that you understand from an early age that it's like that's not really going to get you anywhere.
Exactly. It's not fulfilling.
You know what I'm saying? So when you commit to someone and really try to build something with them, and get something real out of this life, and not just some superficial or just like quick nuts. Because like imagine laying down on your deathbed and you think about like what you did with your life, and you just imagine just like all your orgasms you had with all the different girls. It's like
it's crazy,
man. It's like nah, like that's not it.
Everything
like,
I feel like it just has to be fulfilling.
But
all right, bro. It's been a podcast. We over an hour and 30, bro. But it's always a pleasure.
Yes, sir.
Talking to my good guy right here, man. I definitely want to congratulate you on all the steps that you're making. I know that we're still gonna stay in contact. You know how it goes, bro. We did 4 years. We could do whatever. You know what I'm saying? So, but I just want to let you know, like, basically how much of a blessing you've been to me, and like how much you've helped me grow, and really, helped me shape my life together and things like that. So, I just want to thank you for all that, and just thank you for the podcast, man. I appreciate it. I always have to talk to you, man.
Appreciate that, man. Hey, you're OC, my role model, bro. Like middle school, he was like my older brother that I never had.
I stand, bro. I had an older brother, but we was like twins, bro.
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, man, I got my style from this man. I saw him wearing some striped like Aeropostale shirt. I'm like, let me wear that shit. Niggas thought they was dripping.
I thought we was drippy, bro.
We were not drippy, yeah.
But all right, y'all. I'm gonna catch y'all in the next podcast. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe. Links to the description or whatever that stuff is gonna be at the bottom. And go ahead and make sure you follow my man Jalil. Make sure you follow me. And we are out. Stay tuned for the next one.